everyone? Welcome to episode 3 of the Turnover Football Show presented to you by Delco Football. I'm your man LT, and I'm here with panelist members Dan, Kevin, and Bill down there on the end. Today, we're going to go through, of course, our predictions. We're going to talk about teams that made visits to the Delco Football Donut Shop. We're going to talk about teams that put up 50 pieces this past week. We're going to talk about Delco Football featured players and how they fared this week. And, of course, we're going to talk about this week's topic, and they're still voting, so we're going to see what it is. So, to start things off, the Delco Football Donut Shop. We had 4 teams make visits to the Delco Football Donut Shop and put up donuts last week. Number 1, Bonner. Bonner in their 53-0 win put up a donut against Simon Gratz. Then we have Archbishop Carroll. Archbishop Carroll put up a donut in their win against William Tennant. Then we have the Clippers of Chester. They put up a donut in their 20-0 win against Lincoln High School. And lastly, we have Cardinal O'Hara that served up a donut to Alden Reed Charter in their 49-0 win. It's a great job. You know, I'm a defensive guy. Got to let them donuts. Good job, fellas. All right. So in our 50 pieces, it's going to be something new that we're going to introduce to Delco football this year. You know, every time a team put up a 50 piece on somebody, it's impressive. You know, in high school football, scoring 50 points. But Bonner was our only team this week that put up a 50-point victory in their 53-0 win over Gratz. All right. So next, we're going to talk about our Delco football featured players. These players were voted as the 4 Delco football featured players. We're going to follow them throughout the year. We're going to give updates on how they're doing. And at the end of the season, we might have something special for that one that, you know, outshine the others throughout the season. All right. So our first featured player, we're going to talk about last year's Delco Toms Player of the Year, Liam Taylor. Liam had 31 carries for 229 yards. We know, listen, he was approaching that 300. He was approaching that 300 that Kev predicted, but he had 229 yards. He had 4 touchdowns. And on the defensive side of the ball, he had 5 tackles and a tackle for loss. So he's off to a great start this year. All right. And obviously they won their game. Next. Oh, and sorry, and that was against Truman. And next they play Garnett Valley. So he has a tough task. We'll see what he does this week. Next, we have Noel Campbell, Bonner's QB1. Kev, that's your guy, and especially Bill, that's your guy. But against Gratz, he only played 18 snaps, but he went 4 for 5 for 150 yards and 3 touchdowns. Very impressive at 18 snaps. But, you know, blowout win, so his stats weren't super crazy. 3 touchdowns is still impressive. So great job, and that was against Gratz. This week he plays against Ryan. A little more competition, so we'll see what he gets done. All right. Next, we have Brett Walski from Marple. Against Hatboro Horsham, he had 28 carries for 167 yards and 1 touchdown. Now, listen, his quarterback had a very big game. So, you know, but listen, that's a good stat line. You know, 167 yards, touchdown. Keep up the good work, Brett. And next, they play Springfield in a rivalry game. And finally, but not least, you know, Jalen Harris from Chester, quarterback. He played against Lincoln High School. Against Lincoln, he went 5 for 12 for 97 yards. Not many yards. He had 1 touchdown. Then carrying the rock, he had 10 carries for 36 yards. He had a touchdown there as well. Now, on defensively, he had 2 pass defenses and he had 2 tackles. Now, watching that, and I watched some of the game, I swore he had an interception. You know, I was told it was given to someone else, but I could have swore he had an interception. But he's all over the field. You know, not super huge numbers, but we'll see what he gets done next week. As this Saturday, he plays against George Washington. So that should be field day for him. All right. So those are our featured players. So next, we're going to get into the first in-season high five from Bill and Kev. I'll let whoever wants to go first.
I'll go first. And it has only one change in my high five, and that will be towards the end. So I'm sticking with Bonner, Haverford School, Springfield, Strathaven, and then Chester comes in and knocks GV out. GV had a tough game this week against Coatesville on the road. We looked at that maybe a little wrong. Coatesville, a lot wrong, having a lot of big-time players over there. Tough game for them, but they'll get back in the mix. I know they will. They just have to go out there and get some W's to make sure they can get back in that high five of mine. So
Okay, so we got a new team in the high five for Bill. What you got, Kev?
So same 5 teams, just a little different order. We got the Friars coming at 1. Very impressive week 0. We got to talk about that. Week 1. So we got Bonner, Springfield, Chester, Haven, and then Hereford School. They haven't played yet, but they got a big matchup this week and see what they can do. But they sneak into the 5 spot. Bonner, Springfield, Chester, Haven, Hereford School.
Okay, thanks, Kev. So that's our high five for the week. So from the high five, we'll get right into the game predictions. All right. So our first game this week, we have Carroll going to play Delco Christian, and this is Delco Christian's first Delco versus Delco game. Thoughts, Dan?
Like I said last week, if you haven't played the game and you can't prove to me that you can play this 11-man football, I can't pick you. So, and I owe Carroll a huge apology. I picked them to lose, and they came out and proved me very wrong with the shutout. Right? They had one of the donuts.
Yep.
So I
28
I
nothing.
apologize to Carroll, and I'm going with Carroll this week.
Okay. Kev?
I'm hopping on that bandwagon. Carroll really impressed week 0. And Delco Christian, I had them maybe not ready for the Delco big time football. So we'll see what they can do. But we're going to go with Carroll, week 1.
Okay.
yeah, we'll continue with that. Carol with the donut. They have to prove other words. So I got Carol rolling in this one.
All right. And for myself, feel the same way. Delco Christian, it was a rough game last week. I think Carroll was a little uptick in competition. Impressive 28-0 win last week. So I think they win this one as well. Our next game, we have Alden Reed Charter versus Chichester. Chi coming off of a win against Radnor, and then we have Alden Reed that got blanked by Cardinal O'Hara. And I'll kick this one off. Chichester proved that they were physical. Their running back Dansby, kid had a heck of a game. He had 2 touchdowns, had over 20 yards rushing. Was impressive. It was a lot of. I will say the quarterback played well. There was a lot of drops out there. So it could have been a lot worse than what it was. But I like Chichester in this one. Kev?
Chichester it is. Coach Craig, great week 0 win. Expect them to gain some confidence off that W and just keep this momentum rolling into week 1.
Okay, Bill?
Yeah, we saw what Alden Reed did against O'Hara. Chichester going to take this one again on their home field, 2 games in a row, getting to play on that new field. So yeah, Chichester here.
Okay.
Yeah, that's 4 for 4 for me. That's definitely a Chi win, but I do expect Alden Reed to play a little bit better than they did last week.
Agreed. Okay, next one, the Media Bowl. And listen, I was at that game last year. I think it's going to be a tight one, but we're gonna start off with the.
You already know. We don't lose the hometown bowl, right? We don't lose it. The trophies. No, it's
the ear pads.
I took the ear pads out. When you take the ear pads out, it fits everybody. But we take the hometown bowl trophy every year. It sits in our lobby in our school. I don't even remember the last time it left our school, to be honest with you. And even if it did, it was probably a mistake. So got to go with Haven with that one.
Okay. Haven. I'm sorry.
I do want to counter one thing though. Paul Graham's performance last week at Sun Valley. He had 206 yards on 19 carries with 5 touchdowns. Threw
Impressive.
4 touchdowns. That's 6 touchdowns in the game. That's going to be tough to stop, but Haven got it.
Okay. Media Bowl. I got to go with Haven. Pencrest, fairly impressive against Sun Valley. As you said, Paul Graham, he's kicking things off the right way. I think it's going to be a tight game, and I think it'll be a 1-score game.
I agree.
But I think it's going to be a real good game, but I got to go with the Panthers on this one. Kev?
Following suit. Haven, like you said, in a close one. Pencrest, running back, seems like he's off to a great start. Graham, quarterback, starting off to a great start. Haven, that system, is going to wear you down and get a late one. It's late to take the victory.
Bill?
I also have Haven, but I have Haven winning, but I kind of want this to be a good game, and I want Pencrest to come out here winning. I think they have something going here. And this is a great match. This is going to be an interesting matchup to see what Strathaven comes back to. But I have Haven winning. It's hard to play there with a big band. I say it every week. That makes a difference. And but I'm pulling for Pencrest though. So I got Haven though.
It's going to be a tight game. I promise you. Because even when the last 2 seasons, if you go back to this Haven Pencrest game, it's been a 7-point game, and that was with Fisher being the best player on the field clearly, and they found a way to shut him down and load up a side, and they figure some things out against Clancy. So it's not going to be I have fun with the helmet and all that, but it's not a clear cut answer.
It's going to be a fun game.
It's definitely a physical game. Physical game.
So next we move over to the Catholic League. O'Hara is at Wood. We'll start with you, Bill. Bring it back, Bill.
I have Archbishop Wood here, but I think we skipped a Thursday night game. We skipped Ruston and
Yes, we did. I apologize. Westchester Rusting is going to Glenolden to see the Bucks of Edinburgh. Bill.
Defending district champs. They had a tough game this week. They won. They beat Unionville, I believe. Close game, closer than what people would think. But I think they come down there and handle business down on South Ave.
Okay.
Yeah, not like much arguing here. Ruston coming off a tough game, like Bill just said. Interborough, taking their lumps early. Hopefully they can get back on, back to practice, work hard, get after week 1. But it's a tough slate with Ruston coming to town.
Absolutely. I must agree. I like Ruston in this one. I think they're just a little much for Interborough right now, and I know Ruston lost their horse last year from their district championship run at running back. But again, we have a system in place and they run it well, they execute, and they play good defense too. So, I think it's not going to be a real high scoring game, a lower scoring game. But I like Ruston.
I mean, I like Ruston too, but I think the bigger question here, and we're going to talk a little bit about this, maybe not this episode, but in future episodes, is as an athletic director, right? I'm looking at Interborough football, and I'm not downing Interborough football at all. I know Coach Fisher over there is working his butt off and doing everything he's supposed to do. Why are you starting the season with Haven, Ruston, and I think they got PW next? As an athletic director, why would you do that to your team and to your kids? But that's a whole different conversation. But Ruston, it is next game.
Shots fired.
I like shooting. I like taking shots. I'm sorry.
Hey man, this guy's a troublemaker of Delco
Yes,
football.
I am.
All right, so we'll move on to our next game in the Catholic League. Like I said before, we have O'Hara going to Wood. Who you like?
O'Hara. O'Hara. Yeah, that's it. Just O'Hara. They looked really good last week. So I know Alden Reed was a startup school and everything else, but they look well put together.
I agree. I think O'Hara has the weapons. Wood is definitely not what they used to be. And I think O'Hara takes this one, and I think they're still putting up 30 points. I think they roll. How about you?
I am actually going to switch here and go with Wood. Going to be a tight, hard-nosed PCL football game. Wood coming off beating Central CB South. That's a big win for them. O'Hara is much improved. Not taking anything away from them here. Kamar, Weldy, they got some good things cooking over at O'Hara. It's going to be a very good game actually to watch. I'm want to go with Wood in a very close one.
Okay. All right, Bill.
I'm going with Archbishop Wood also. Like Kev said, they played that tough game last week. So, I think they're ready. And don't forget, they have to go all the way up to Bucks County for this game on the road. So I think O'Hara is on the right track. I got Archbishop Wood getting better in the PCL this year. So
Okay. So Simon Gratz is going to Episcopal Academy. Their season opener, we just saw Gratz get thumped a bit. These pub teams coming down Delco, getting some act right. So who you like, Episcopal Academy or Simon Grattsville?
So I was at the game last week with Bonner, and a couple of EA coaches were there. And they were kind of angry with what they had to open up with, and they said, hey, this is what we got. This is the only team that will come out to us, and but they're a little upset that that's what they're going to open up with. So I got them another goose egg or donut, whatever you want to call it.
Okay. Yeah.
We want to talk about an AD really screwing you guys up. Open with Bonner, then to Episcopal. Yeah, I just don't understand what is even on the schedule, to be honest with you. Episcopal.
Okay. Same here. Episcopal Academy, Interact. It's a different brand of football. I don't think it's close.
Episcopal. Next question.
All right. Next, we have a good one. We have Haverford High School going out to Garnett Valley. What's your thoughts on it, Dan?
Oh, I gotta go first.
Yep.
Oh man, this is tough. I mean, I picked Garnet last week versus Coatesville. Didn't know. I apologize, Coatesville. I didn't know. But I got to go Haverford. 229 yards. I challenged the 200. He met my challenge, so I got to ride with Liam Taylor again.
All right. Good one. I'm going with the Fords. Wasn't pretty last week. It's a new offense at Garnett Valley. Haverford and Liam, they're just rolling, man. And I think that, last year wasn't a bluff. They went from 1-10 to 11-1. I don't think it's a bluff. The big thing was they're only returning 4 starters, but I think that they had that system rolling. They had them kids out Haverford believing. I'm gonna go with the Fords.
I'm gonna go with the upset as well. I'm gonna go with the Fords. Liam Taylor cruising. Garnet Valley. Rough game coming off Coatesville. I do expect them to play better. I don't think that's going to be an all-year thing. Right. But it's going to be – this is probably the best game on the board right here. I expect Lamb just to be too much for him and get a big run late for the seal the deal.
I'm going with the Jags here. You're going to play at the Mo after a week of watching some tape off of seeing a very good Coatesville team, right? You're going to find your mistakes. You're going to see the tape. You're going to correct them. I have Garnet Valley, getting back on track here with this game. Home opener for them. It's going to be a great environment there, both sides of the field. But I got Garnet Valley get himself back on the map this week.
So I have a question then. Is this game a must-win for Garnet Valley if they want to win the Central League? Because this would be 2 losses already.
It's going to be tough to recover from that because
for the Central League, yes, but for a playoff team, no. I mean, like we talked about this before, and there's a lot of teams that make the playoffs. It's hard not to make playoffs. It's not a must-win for playoffs, and that's what that's their goal, right?
Right. Well, I'm speaking more towards.
You want to win the Central League. You want to compete every year for the Central League, but all in all, the goal is to make sure you make playoffs and maybe get a run at the end. So, and we said it in the first show, the Central League. Whoever is hot, whoever's winning at the end is going to be the toughest team to beat.
I don't think there's going to be an undefeated team in the Central League.
No, not at all.
They're all going to beat up on each other, them top teams.
Yep. And I did fail to mention, Pencrest at Strath Haven is the Delco Football Game of the Week, voted on by the fan poll. So that's the game you guys voted for Game of the Week. All right. So we'll move on to our next game. Penwood, Coach Duck, congratulations on your first win as Penwood head coach. And listen, 4 overtimes, but y'all found a way. But you go and travel to Avon Grove. Listen. Thoughts, Bill?
First of all, it's Avon Grove.
I say Avon.
Avon
Grove.
Yeah, Avon Grove.
I'm gonna put an E in there.
A little bit south of Garnet, not too far away. But no, they gotta head down there, and I think Penwood's gonna take care of business there. They had I look back at their week 0 game, Avon Grove, and it was I think they lost to someone that not too impressive. But I got Penwood keeping it going here. Hopefully they go 2-0. Hopefully Coach gets his second one.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm hopping on the Penwood bandwagon. Let's go, Coach Keith. Let's go. But Penwood, gets a little momentum to win week 1. Going up to Avon Grove, like Bill just said, not like a team that's going up there that you can't win up there. So I'm going with Penwood and the Patriots. Let's go.
All right. Same thing. Very impressive game by Haji Ali. 5 touchdown game. Very impressive, man. And those athletes, they run around. They're excited. Defense going to have to step up a little bit, but I like Penwood. I think they'll put points on the board. I think they'll get it done.
Going Penwood again. Please get me that shutout I promised last week. Thank you. That's it.
All right. So next game we have Radnor visiting Harrington. Thoughts?
This is a tough game just because of my fault. Just because of I feel like the balance of level of play here. But I'm gonna go with Radnor.
Okay. I don't think it's a balance of play. I think Radnor wins. Like
Okay.
I was at that game against Chai. Chai's a very physical team up front, but Radnor, like they have something there. You know, quarterback play wasn't bad. You know, nice size quarterback. My man that was number 2 last year. I see he changed the number. Number one now. You know, heck of an athlete on the outside. I know Harrington. You know, won big. I mean, I was wrong about Kensington. You know, about those athletes. I think they were non-existent last week. But I like Radnor.
I'm going Radnor as well. I think, like you said right there, they're coming along. Much improved. Harrington, I'm not on that bandwagon yet. I can't get on there. But Radnor, I think, is much improved. Lost to a hard team in Chichester, who I think is much improved. So I'm going Radnor.
Bill?
Yeah, coming off a loss on the road to Chai, Radnor's going to bounce back here and take care of Harrington.
Okay. So next we have our Delco Football Prediction Panel Game of the Week. And this is going to be a heck of a game. We have Springfield visiting Marple. Bill, thoughts?
Oh, man.
First off, we talked about some our players to watch, right? And we failed to mention. Well, you did mention it earlier, but we failed to mention the defensive players, and I think that's something we got to come into. And I'm going to do it again. And Evan Herzig, he had 10 tackles
Better
last
do
week.
it again.
Hey, the kid plays, and he was all over the field on the defensive side. And for me, that's what I like the most. I like watching defenses, and when you got a player like that to watch every week, it makes it more fun. Yeah, so I got Springfield going in there, handling business. It's gonna be a great atmosphere. Labor Day weekend. It's gonna be packed. Get there early. I'm sure there's gonna be some tailgating going. But very physical, very some points are going to be put on the board here, but I got Springfield taking care of business.
Thoughts, Gabe?
Yeah, can I bet the over? I'm with Bill with some points. Wolski's going to do his thing, but I'm going to go with Springfield, man. This is going to be a tough game. You might see some overtime. Might see an overtime victory here. I think both these teams are evenly matched. I think Marple's coming along, but in the end, just like Springfield battled last week against Perk. You know, they kept battling. They were down, came back, won that game. Kind of see something similar here. They're going to fight it out and maybe win an overtime thriller.
Got you. Listen, I'm on the Cougar bandwagon too on this one. I feel like Springfield will try to slow the game a little bit. I feel like Marple will try to speed it up. I think it's going to be a physical game, but I think Springfield got little bit more dogs than Marple in this fight. So I'm gonna go with Springfield, and especially with the experience they have at that OC. It's a legend there calling those plays, and I think that's helping Springfield tremendously. I like the Cougars. Man.
Springfield for me. I think it's going to be, like we said, the game of the week. It's going to be a battle. This was the toughest game for me to pick, but I'm going Springfield.
Okay. So we'll go on to our next game. We have Sun Valley at Great Valley. The Battle of the Valleys. What do we think, Dan? We know you'll be in the house.
I think I'm going to Haven, but we'll talk about that. Watching Sun Valley last week, they had Pencrest where they were comfortable with them in the first half. They were down 14-11, and then the ensuing kickoff, I don't know if it was on purpose. I don't know if it was a call. It was an onside kick of some sort that led to 2 quick Pencrest touchdowns before the half, and that game got away. And I feel like without that call, if they stopped Pencrest going into halftime, that score changes because those kids had a level of fight in them that I hadn't seen Sun Valley have. So I'm going with Sun Valley this week.
Listen, Vanguards, I'm rocking with y'all again. Come on now. Come on now. I mean, Great Valley, I don't think they're, the best team. You know, just putting them on standards of what we're looking at in this game. I like Sun Valley. It's experienced at quarterback. They played against a tough Pencrest team last week. So I still have faith in you. Come on, let's get it done, Vanguards. Kev, who you like?
I'm going with Great Valley. Really no rhyme or reason. Don't know much about Great Valley. Just looking at the score, I know Pencrest is a much improved team and going to be a hard out. But until Sun Valley shows me something they can get the W, I'm going with Great Valley.
Bill?
Yeah, I'm going Great Valley also. I saw them scrimmage against Springfield earlier, and they got some big kids and not a very large team, like numbers-wise, but they had some big kids on the D-line and stuff like that, and I think they'll be able to handle Sun Valley.
Okay. All right, next. Unionville at Academy Park. And listen, I was at the Academy Park game with Kev. Bill, we'll start with you, though.
Going with Unionville. They had a tough game, a big game last week, and they're going to come and play at Academy Park, which is tough for them to do. But I think they just Unionville's getting better and stronger. I just like this, like I said, before I can pick Academy Park, I got to see them get a W and put some W's on the board.
Kev, your thoughts?
I'm gonna go with Unionville as well. Like you just said, we were at the Academy Park game. They have some athletes there, much improved. Just stay out of your own way, man. Can't be getting penalties all the time. Can't be getting punts called back. But they have some dogs up front. They have some athletes on the outside. Jabia Day, he had one punt return for a touchdown. Should have had two. The other one was called back. But kind of like Bill said, you gotta get some W's on the board before I can start picking you. But Academy Park is they're in a fight. They just can't stop getting out of your own way. Keep your hands inside.
And before we go, that game Unionville had last week was against the defending district champs in Ruston, and they competed. They lost, but they competed and lost 19-14. So I just think they're going to bounce back here. So.
AP. Is that the game when you're sideline? Your pictures are coming. Mac, actually, you watching this, you already seen the pictures. Guys have the talent.
Mm-hmm.
You got it. As Kev said, you got to stay out of your own way, though. And everybody, the refs. Guess what? I was taking pictures looking, and he did that. So let's be smart. To be honest with you, you should have blew that team out last week. And my spill last week was, when Academy Park plays those teams have problems with the athlete that Academy Park put on the field. It was exactly that.
Mm-hmm.
And Unionville was the team I referenced last week. So again, they'll have problems with your athletes, but you have to get the job done and be disciplined enough to not have those simple behind calls where you're calling touchdowns back. You had 2 touchdowns called back while I was there. That was first half. And you dropped the wide open touchdown pass. You don't make those plays with those penalties and you catch that. It's a blowout. You might have a running clock. I'm rocking with y'all again, but you got to be smart and y'all got to, use your heads and not commit dumb penalties. I like AP. I think they're at those athletes by the Unionville.
I feel like you guys said it all, and I'm riding with you, LT. I'm going AP.
Next game, we got a Central League battle. We got Upper Darby going to Conestoga. Dan, who you like, man? You want me to go ahead and see get yourself together?
Nah, we good.
Okay.
Conestoga. I got Conestoga in this one. Upper Darby disappointed me.
Yeah.
I'm going to ride with Stoga.
Okay, Stoga. Looking at their performance last week, Upper Darby's, it's a tough one for me. I'm still thinking those athletes against Conestoga. It bit me in my butt a couple times. Upper Darby, I think they can get things together, man, and hopefully bounce back. I mean, Stoga last week was what? O&J. They 32-10 to O&J, and I don't look at O&J that highly. I mean, they had a winning record last year.
They were 9-3.
Yeah, they had a winning record last year. With that 32-10, I'm going with Upper Darby. Okay.
I'm going with Stoga. Upper Darby kind of disappointed me last week. I thought they had put a better product out there. I'd like to see you guys get back up top, man. So many kids in that school. I'd like to see Upper Darby come back up to the top, like when they were there back in the early 2000s.
Right.
Upper Darby was a tough out. Conestoga play. I think we might be not giving O and J enough credit. When I went back and looked, I said, "Man, I didn't know they were 9-3."
Yeah, they were. They had a good record.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. But I'm gonna ride with Conestoga, even though they let me down last week. But we're going with Stoga.
Okay, Bill.
I'm going to go with Upper Darby here. I think the game will be tight. It'll be a close game. Upper Darby having to travel all the way out to Bucks County last week, up in a big school district in Ben Salem. I think this is going to be a tight game, and I agree with you, LT. I think Upper Darby comes out with the W here.
Okay, so our next game, we're gonna go to our Saturday games. First one, Haverford School season opener. And they're going out to Wild Missing. I said that right?
Mhm.
Yes, you did.
Okay, Wild Missing. I'm not good with names. Bill, what's your thoughts? Wild Missing, usual powerhouse out there. What's your thoughts on it?
Blew out Southern Columbia.
Yeah, Southern Columbia.
Really?
They're not the recent Southern Columbia.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's still a blowout. It's a powerhouse.
So this is Haverford School's first game of the season, and they have high. Everyone's coming in looking at them, and as a big time team this year in the Interact. And, I think this is going to be go on the road and take this W over here at Wyomissing and start the season off strong.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Wild Missing. Just coming off that week 1 win against Southern Columbia. I know they're probably not the 7-time state champ Southern Columbia, which you shouldn't be in that class. That's another show. I get an argument with my college buddies all the time about that one. But I'm going to go Wild Missing. They're powerhouse. They've been making deep runs. And I just think there might be a little bit too much for Haverford School, especially being their first week. The Wild Missing already got a game under their belt, a good game. So I'm going to go Wild Missing.
I like the Fords. I think it's going to be more of a reload. I mean, I think I feel as though they're going to control the line of scrimmage with that line. We got a Jones boy there. It's just quarterback play. I think that's what it's going to come down to. Haverford's quarterback play. If he's executing, he's making good decisions. I like Haverford.
Haverford School.
Okay. Next, we're going back to the Catholic League. PCL, we have Bonner, our defending state champs, after their week 1 blowout, going to see Rhine. And I think it's an uptick in competition. It's definitely not Gratz, but what do you think, Dan?
This is not a tough one. I'm going Bonner again. Starting the season off with two cupcakes, but again, we're going to talk about that later. Go ahead.
All right, well, I'm going to go with Ryan, Flying, Drying, Bonner, and 5. Yeah.
Bonner. They'll get it rolling. They'll keep it rolling. Coming off a big monster win. I don't know if you guys know, but Ryan's coach just got suspended for the year.
Right.
That's a whole different conversation.
Ooh.
But Bonner, not a close one. They'll run away with it again. Another goose. Another donut. I'm sorry. Let's go. It's back on that donut and a 50-piece.
Ooh.
Wow.
Hold on. But that's bad because Campbell not going to put them numbers up because he's going to be watching the second half again.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Bill.
The fans are going to be out on the boardwalk real quick. Game's down in Ocean City. Bonner's going to, roll on this one, and by halftime, all the kids will be on the boardwalk. So, Bonner.
Okay. Our next game, we have George Washington going down to Exit 6 for their home season opener. Chester. Who you got, Bill?
Chester. That's all I'm going to say there. I talked to Coach Shaw over the weekend at the Jamboree down in Claymont, and he's got a good thing going there. 2 6A public schools. We talked about this earlier too, and it's a way to get points. Take the points where you can get them.
Yeah.
Chester, not much to it. I'll tell you what, I have to give Lincoln a little shout out. They played the boys a little closer than I expected.
Told y'all.
You try to get yourself with that. But Chester, I expect them to keep this train rolling and get the W.
Yeah, same here. I think Chester in the running clock. I don't think it's going to be Saturday afternoon. I might stop by. I'll be home by 2:30.
I don't know if Gratz and Lincoln are in the same pub division.
Division, not sure.
If they're not, those ADs should call each other and let Bonner and Chester play next year.
100%.
But again, we'll get into that later. But Chester for the win.
Okay, in our last game, we have the Green Raiders. Bit disappointed. I was expecting big things from them. They had a tough out. Hopefully they can rebound. But they are going to see Lower Marion, which I was at for a big overtime win. Exciting game. Came down to the last kick, and my man nailed it. But what's your thoughts on Ridley at Lower Marion?
Ridley has good.
I would say not the Aces. I don't know if I said the Aces, but the
Nah.
Bulldogs. Who do you got?
Ridley has to win if they want to contend in the Central League this
Yep.
year. That should just you have to win this game. If you lose this game, start playing the juniors and sophomores.
Got you. I mean, and me being at the Lower Marion game last week, the quarterback was kind of, willing them to win. He didn't have many weapons around him. Defense played solid, but I think Radner has Ridley has a little more firepower than Lower Marion. So I like the Green Raiders. Kevin?
Ridley as well. Let's see if they get back on track after a tough week 0 loss. But Lower Marion, came out, got the W. It's Upper Marion. Tough matchup for them. But I'm going to go with the Raiders.
Yeah, I'm sticking with Ridley. They had to go up to Bucks County again, like some of these other teams, and go on the road to a Central Bucks team that's average. Should have won, but they're gonna take care of business this week.
Okay, thanks, Bill. So those are our panel picks. Look out for the graphic with everybody's prediction panel picks for week 1. Next, our topic of the week. Our options were system offenses, the best field in Delco. We have the pros and cons of 7-on-7 and 1-on-1 lineman drills, without pads on. And then what are the biggest rivalries in Delco? And the winner of that is, let me find it. We have the biggest Delco football rivalries. I'll let whoever wants to go first to start kicking off rivalries that they love. Anybody?
I'll go first because it's this week and it's the hometown bowl in media with Haven versus Pencrest. I've never lost that game personally. I don't really know too many Haven football players that have lost that game, which is the only reason if we're actually ranking rivalries, I kind of bring it down a little bit because I think a true rivalry,
Yep.
you got to be able to get beat every year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that Ridley Interborough thing. Like no matter how good those teams were, that game is always a fight.
Right.
Yep.
And go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, and you just mentioned another one, really, Interborough.
Right.
Thanksgiving Day. I think all of our Delco football Thanksgiving Day games are rivalries. At this point, you got Ridley Interborough, you got Haverford Upper Darby, and Chi Sun Valley.
Yep.
You got to have those teams in the mix when we talk rivalries. Guys, got any?
I'm just going to go with the one I played in high school, Bonner O'Hare. It didn't matter how good either test side was. It was going to be a hard-fought game. Kevin Jones' senior year, that team should have beat us 50-0. It was 14-13. I mean, that game, no matter how, like you just said, to be a rivalry,
Right.
that team's got to have a chance to win. And it didn't matter how good the other team was. That game was going to be a hard-fought game. That's just one that I played in that, I love going to every year.
Right.
Just for the fact that, bragging rights, nowadays it's not so much of the neighborhood battles because
the private schools take all the kids from the neighborhood schools.
It is what it is. But it's not more of a neighborhood battle. It's just more of a school battle. But it's still one of the best around, I think.
Got you. Bill, any teams come to mind?
I was part of the Bonner Ohio rivalry too. But the other one that I was part of would be the Canyon Park Penwood rivalry.
Yes. Yes.
Neighboring towns. Got a lot of kids that live right on the border, know each other. They run into each other a lot. Like I said, I was part of the Knights program for a year, so I remember that rivalry all too well. It's always a Saturday game.
Right.
It's tough, and everyone comes. So
Listen, as a coach scouting, I've been to those games, scouting. But last year was my first year on the sideline of that Penwood Academy Park. And I was sitting there like, damn, is it always like this? The newspaper guy sitting there, I'm like, yo, he was like, yeah, this is their rivalry. That's a heck of one. Got to throw, when you talk about neighborhood rivalries, that Chester, that battle of I-95. Now, years ago, it was a bit lopsided. now it's been a little lopsided the past few years. But a lot of the kids, and quote me on this, play for Chai or from Chester. So, you get that rivalry, so it's all they popping. Okay, and listen, man, it is what it is. That's gonna be my saying. But also we got to think about Haverford School Episcopal Academy. Mentioned that before. Last year was my first year attending one of those games, and the atmosphere was crazy, so that's definitely one. And this week, I think Marple Springfield is a rival.
I think it's getting there.
That's
Yeah,
the
it's-
biggest.
could be.
Yeah, they're another neighborhood rivalry. Like they border each other, so you're going to get all the fans there. It's not too far for anybody. So yeah,
Right. And let me clean something up real quick. They don't live in Chester. They're from Chester. So don't be trying to get me in trouble for that.
Don't try to
I gotta
fix it
clean
now.
I got to clean up a little bit. Listen, but the families originate. Listen, I'm a Chester guy. I live in Chai now. So same thing. All right. And anybody else come to mind, fellas? We talk rivalries. Garnet Valley. Who do they ride? I mean,
think Garner Valleys would have been Ridley for a while. Now it's just who is next up there in the Central League. So I would say
Right.
Garner Valley, Strathaven. That's always packed.
It had grown. It's grown into something. Well, what hurts Garner Valley is that they came in the Central League late.
Yes.
They weren't originally Central League.
they were in the
so-
Del Val. Yep.
They were Southern Chester County first, right?
They were in Del Val when I was in high school. They were
Del
in
Val
Del
football,
Val.
Southern Chester County basketball.
Oh, okay.
They were in Del Val with us. It was Harrington was in the Del Val with us.
Unionville.
Garnet Valley, Unionville,
Oxford
and Sun Valley.
and Oxford.
Yeah, they must have been Americans. I never played Oxford. Yeah, back in the day.
That's too far.
Yeah,
That-
Unionville's too. Like
that right
I hit
stinks.
this.
Unionville's far too.
That right
Yeah,
stinks.
yeah. I'm trying to think any other.
Nah, really, Interborough is probably the biggest one I could speak on. Upper Darby has one. Who's that?
Haverford.
Haverford.
Yeah, Haverford.
On
Haverford.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah. And what Upper Darby, not last year. I think Haverford beat them last year. But the year before was Upper Darby's first time beating them in some time. Yeah, so, all right. So, we are good there. So, that's our show, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Just keep an eye out for everything that, we're pushing out there. We have the prediction panel coming. We're going to have the Delco Football Donut Shop popping up. You're going to see, stats as far as our top 10 scoring offenses and defenses, putting out standings, just tune in. We got a lot for you. We're going to keep on pushing it out and keep on supporting Delco football. Other than that, everybody be safe, and we'll see you next episode. Thanks for tuning in.